You know, even though my shop is small, I still really enjoy working in it. Walls are close by, so I can reach my tools pretty fast. And it really doesn't take me that long to get in and out of my shop. But sometimes I look outside the window and I see the sun shining, and I really wish I could do some chiseling outdoors. Maybe get into a little bit of nature. And do some chores. And then hit the trail, just me and my dog. The first thing we need to do is check out how unflat these things are so we can glue them together and make a bigger piece. A little bit of wax makes the job just a little bit easier. Once you get them as flat as you can, you want to add a lot of glue. Last thing you want is a couple of spots that haven't been glued together. And then clamp the heck out of it with every clamp that you have. This is why everybody says you can never have too many clamps. This is what happens when you don't clamp it up properly when trying to square it. There was a little check that I didn't notice, but we're going to fix that with a walnut bow tie. They don't need to be perfect in my opinion, or symmetrical. I just laid one out by eye. While that dries, we're going to begin on the in-vise / adjustable stop. I was going to use these fancy pop-up dogs, but the wood turned out not to be thick enough to use them, so I had to resort to plan B. These little fancy buttons are really handy to mark the holes that you want to drill for a dowel or any kind of insert. Once you have the holes drilled, then you can lay out the depth for your stop. This is one of my favorite tools to have, a router plane. It makes easy work of making the bottom perfectly flat on anything. This is part of a turnbuckle that I'm going to use as a nut. I don't have a lathe, so I'm going to have to make it round by hand, the old-fashioned way. Now that we have the holes drilled and the nuts inserted into the end, we have to make some slots in this end vise. This is going to be the ramp that I'm going to add to the side to do some edge joining. I'm going to use these threaded inserts that you can screw into the wood, and then the bolt that goes through the ramp will attach to. I decided to attach it at an angle. I figured if I did that, it would use more of the blade than just one spot. I was going to do a double row of holes for the holdfast, but the bench isn't super wide, and the holdfast, they will reach pretty good on either side if I just do it down the center. I'm gonna attach the legs using a sliding dovetail. You can do it with a router, or if you have a router plane, but I figured, everybody might not have one, so I'm going to show you that you could do it by hand. I don't do it very often, so we'll see how cleanly I can pull it off, but it can be done. Once you get it laid out, use your saw and cleanly go from end to end, and so you have a track for your saw to cut into and guide. Once you do that, use a sharp chisel to try to get as close as you can to the line, and then finish it off with a shoulder plane. Shoulder plane can easily be had off Amazon for not that much at all. Again, with the shoulder plane, get close to the line, but not all the way. This way you can sneak up on the fit on the female side of the sliding dovetail. The way I do it is the next step is I lay it up on the bench, squared up. I mark either ends, and then I transfer those down towards the edge. Once you do that, you use the dovetail to transfer the lines back up towards the top, and then those will be the lines that you connect on top, and that's where you will cut. Now before you do all this, you want to cut yourself a little jig on a scrap piece of wood at a whatever angle that you choose to use, 1 in 6, 1 in 8, whatever. This way you can lay your saw on it and it'll keep you at that angle. Make sure you don't cover up the line with the jig. You want to still have some of that line, or actually probably all the line, so your saw can be on it. Otherwise, the slot will end up being too big. This is always my favorite part for some reason, chiseling out a bunch of wood. Once again, the router plane to the rescue. And now we check the fit. It was a little looser than I wanted, but it's still pretty decent. Once you have it where you want it, glue it all up, let it dry, and admire your work.